Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ruben Page, and I'm the transfer coordinator for LAC and PCC here at Long Beach City College, and I'm also one of the counselors here. And this is a really happy day for me because I get to talk to, and you get to talk to and listen to what I call, people call me the transfer expert. These folks up here are really the transfer experts because they successfully transferred to the university, and some of them have already graduated from the university. So they'll be sharing their stories of success today and giving you some tips and perspective on what made their transition to the university smooth and what they might be doing after graduation or already doing after graduation. So I would like to, if you could join me in a round of applause in greeting our transfer panelists. I would also like to lead a second round of applause for those of you who are here today, because you're here investing in a couple of things, leadership, and by coming to this panel, also investing in your transfer knowledge and transfer success. So a big round of applause for the people that are here today. So I'll be the moderator, of course, so I'm going to try to do as little talking as possible so we can hear from our experts. But I will be posing some questions to our panel today. And you will also have an opportunity, if at the very end, to ask some questions if I haven't covered anything during this hour or so of panel. And the first question I have, and we'll start with the panelists closest to me, is a very easy question. If you could just introduce yourself, tell us your name, where you transferred to, what your major was, and if you have already graduated, what you are currently doing now. And just one cue for my panelists, please. I know you might be shy, but please use the microphone because so the audience can hear you, and you are being taped. Not to make you nervous.
All right. Hi, I'm Samantha Sears. I transferred from Long Beach City to UCLA, and I majored in English. After earning my BA at UCLA, I transferred to Cal State Long Beach, where I earned my master's in English and my single subject teaching credential. Now I'm currently a teacher and an athletic director at Marina High School.
Hi everyone, my name is Jules. I transferred from Long Beach City just this spring, so it's my first semester at USC. I'm majoring in environmental engineering, so won't be graduating for a few more years.
I'm Gavin Centeno. I transferred to Cal State Dominguez Hills University in '08, and I'm currently the student body president at that university. And currently, I'm working in the process to get the master's at Long Beach State.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamie Cañas, and I transferred from Long Beach City to UCLA. I'm currently at UCLA. I'm an anthropology, applied developmental psychology minor, and I think that's it.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Lauren Myers. I'm a parenting transfer student. I just transferred to UCLA from Long Beach City College this past fall, so I'm finishing my first year, and my major is African American Studies, and I'm double minoring in education and evolutionary medicine.
Great.
Hi, I'm Arletha Brooks. I'm actually an enrollment specialist here. I graduated from Long Beach City College, received an Associate of Arts degree in Liberal Studies, transferred to CSU LB, received a degree, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, and now I'm currently working on a master's degree back at CSU LB in Gerontology.
So as you can see from our panelists, we have a really good spread of folks who have just transferred in the middle of their education and have already finished their degrees. So we've got a good variety of folks up here. The next question, we'll start from my end again, we'll go round robin, is I know some of the students here, it's their first semester or close to their first semester. Could you give us your best piece of advice for students in their first semester at Long Beach City College?
All right, it's difficult to limit this to one piece of advice. What I would say in your first semester is establish a goal and a timeline for yourselves. That way you know what you're working for each day that you're here, but don't be afraid to change your mind and don't be afraid to change your timeline. If things aren't going according to plan or if suddenly your target university changes, that's all right. I changed my mind multiple times. I was a transfer student on multiple occasions as well. Long Beach City was actually my second college. I started at Occidental. And just because my path didn't stay the same, the end result worked out as well as I could have possibly hoped for. So establish your goals, try to stick to those and go after those with dedication and commitment, but don't be afraid to change your mind.
Being a new student at like another school right now, this is my advice, just being like a new student anywhere, I guess, would just be to find a group that, like a support group for yourself. So definitely look around in some of your classes at students that you see are motivated to succeed and that you can keep with you while you spend your time here. So like I was in the honors program, so there's a lot of academic programs that will help you succeed and you'll make like really good friends there that will just push you harder every other day or every day. Anyways.
Thank you.
For me, I would say stay involved, because when you stay involved, the more you become valuable when you transfer and when you meet your employers, and your experiences will ultimately be valuable to the employers when you graduate from university.
My advice, looking back when I was an LBCC student, that I think is very important is remembering that your professors are human beings like you. They have a lot of knowledge, but like you, getting to know them is very important, because not only will you need friends when you go out and you go into university, but you'll also need mentors. And professors are going to be the ones to help you, to keep you on track, to help you with maybe a change of mind. But just remember that professors are also a potential to be a friend. Obviously not a buddy-buddy, but a friend, a guide that can actually help you on your path. So just remember that. Professors are human beings as well.
To be direct, I think the most thing that I struggle with and most students most likely will struggle with when transferring is being competitive and making sure that you have those good grades, or are my grades good enough? And I recall taking an anatomy class and I felt like I would not get where I wanted to go because I was not getting the grades that I wanted in that one class. I retook a class twice here, and I was accepted to 4 universities. So that is just an example. If you are struggling in a class that you don't feel strong in, go talk to your professor, do whatever you can do, just don't lose that ending motivation to get where you're trying to go.
Everything everyone has said prior to me is so important, so I back it all. But I'm coming from an area of dreams. Dream big and realize that there is nothing you cannot do. I look at all these faces in here, and many of you have different individual reasons of why you chose in higher education. You hold on to that, because like with me, I was the first in my family to leave a state and to go back to college at an older age than many of the people sitting in my class. But I had a dream, I had a goal, and no one was gonna stop me from focusing and accomplishing what I chose to do. and I actually went higher than my dreams. And I can see everyone in here one day being able to sit on another panel just like this, sharing the reason why you chose higher education. So you hold on to that, because it's going to take you a far, far, far beyond these doors to many areas of the world, okay? So don't lose your dreams.
Thank you, panelists. We had some really great themes there. Some of the things that I picked out were remembering to stay involved in your school, whether it's Long Beach City College or your next transfer institution. Big thing about perseverance, and also being able to withstand changes in your major or your career, because that will happen, okay? We'll start from the far end, so all the great answers don't get used up before it reaches Arletha over there. But if you could think back to your very first weeks of school after transferring,
Wow, the huge campus of CSULB.
and think of, and share with the students who may be transferring very soon how those first few weeks were, even that first week of being at that new university.
Okay. Regardless of how I prepared, I printed out every map I could find on Google. But for some reason, I was still standing in the middle of this large campus saying, oh my God, can you help me out? Can you help me out? Can somebody point the way? So it was just finding my area to where I needed to go. I got there early, but I was late to class and I was eyeballed. But I just remembered, okay, relax, calm yourself. This is change. Life is all about change. So I think that was my biggest obstacle, actually trying to find my courses. The second biggest thing is I left everybody behind at Long Beach City College, because I was maybe one out of hundreds that chose different varieties of things. So I was standing there or sitting there next to a student, and I was like, should I talk to her? I don't know, she might be mean, or I don't know. So eventually I was like, you know what, let me just go at it. And so I was like, hi, you're psychology? Yes, I'm psychology too. Okay, great, bam. So that helped me and helped another person formulate, finding out places and trying to figure out what resources they're going to use and what resources I was going to use. So that was my biggest thing, that first week of trying to make friends and find my classes. But I did it eventually.
So my first few weeks, I would advise, if there are any transitional programs that you can get into before you start your first quarter, hop on it as soon as you get your admit letter. Because not only will you be in advanced standing with the university, you'll get your GPA established quicker, and you'll also be able to know what's surrounding you. Because the traffic flow, faculty coming in for work, that can all affect your pace, and then on different days. So you can be on time to class Monday and Wednesday, but those Tuesdays and Thursdays may be really hectic. So my advice, get on campus as soon as you can in any program and get adjusted to your environment so that way you can easily transition.
I agree with that. And I want to say here at Long Beach City College, I remember there being a program called CCCP, Community College Partnerships, and I was accepted into UCLA's Site Plus program, where they actually have you live in the dorms and let you experience. So if any of you know of the program, I know Ruben, I'm sure, sends emails out letting you know. I would say take advantage of that and never feel like intimidated by anything, because you really are capable of really doing anything you see yourself doing. I went into the academic advancement program after that, before I was even admitted to any university. And what that allowed me to do is also live in the dorm, know the environment, and then it prepared you with workload. Depending on, from going to semester, the toughest thing for me was going from 16 weeks to 10 weeks. At UCLA, the first week, I was going to purchase my books. It was 15 units, only 3 courses, because they're lecture and discussions for each course. And then you buy the books. I had a total of 15 books for the quarter. That's 10 weeks. Now, what that means is, and don't get it, and don't, and it kind of blows your mind. You're like, what? How are you going to read this? But you can do it. And it starts with managing your time, not panicking, but realizing that there's a need to ask for help as well. That's one of the biggest lessons I also learned at UCLA, because I went into panic mode. And I'm still in panic mode, actually, every quarter, just so you know, because it's one book every other 2 weeks, lots of things to read and writing. But the thing is that panic is what makes it worth it. And if you have a dream really about this higher education like I did, I have to tell you, every time they say, how's UCLA? I always say, I love UCLA. I love it there. And I have to tell you, I love it there. It's work, but if you can structure your dream, now remember, it's going to take some structuring and some guiding. It's going to happen. I don't know if I answered the question, but I think I got carried away.
So my mistake was not going to this new student orientation. Very big mistake for me. I'm one of those students that are really informed, but I just didn't want to pay the 60 or however much it is dollars to go to orientation. And later that semester, mid-semester, I found out that I was supposed to be checking the Blackboard. Blackboard is where you get all your assignments and all the requirements and all the tests that you need. And I just didn't do that. That was my mistake. So please go to orientation. It will be helpful.
Spend the money.
Okay, so all of the things they mentioned were good answers to, and everything, like something that they were things that occurred to me as well. But another thing that it surprised me, but I guess it shouldn't have, was that like the first week of classes, every student was probably 5 minutes early and every seat was taken. So everybody, probably for like the first month of school, they attended every class and they were like very early, and they would like stay longer if they needed to, because I know here at City College it might be like a little more relaxed, but just like if you ever think about like skipping a class, or it shouldn't, but if you ever think about that, just know that when you go to a university, it's a lot different. And everybody there, it's kind of like every student there was at the top of their class at like in their high school, and so it's very competitive, but it shouldn't scare you because you made it there. So you're definitely just as worthy as they are. So yeah.
Thank you.
I think everybody on the panel has done a really great job addressing the academic concerns and the overwhelming feeling that you can get when arriving to a campus. So I'm going to approach this from a slightly different angle. It seems like the people who are here today in the room, you're all actively involved in your school, whether it's high school students or college students, you're actively involved, and you've established a network of resources. When you get to your university, don't lose touch with those roots that you've established here. Make sure that you continue to come back to your resources. And I know, granted, I'm dating myself a little thinking back to my first week as a transfer student, but I was also a water polo player. And I can remember my very first week. It was the second day. I had been through, 6 hours of class and about the same amount of training, and my body was exhausted and my mind was exhausted. And there is a long pathway in the middle of campus at UCLA called Bruin Walk. Everybody walks this pathway. And I made it about halfway up the hill, and amidst all of the students, I sat down in the middle of the hill and I started sobbing, hysterically sobbing, to the point where complete strangers were walking up to me, making sure that I was all right. But my body was tired from practices. I was already feeling like I was going to fall asleep in classes. It just seemed extraordinarily overwhelming. So of course, my first phone call was to my mom, who is in the room today. But she was able to get me back in touch with the resources that I had established here at Long Beach City College. So later that afternoon, I got a call from my coach here at Long Beach City, and he encouraged me to keep going because I was at the point where I did not think I was capable of cutting it out at the new level. And later that evening, I got a visit from our athletic trainer here at Long Beach City, who brought me all of the tools and resources I would need to get rid of the soreness so that if my mind wasn't right, at least my body would be. But what I remember the most was I don't think I could have survived that first week when everything seemed so overwhelming without coming back to my roots here at Long Beach City. So whatever networks you've established here with your clubs and your groups, make sure to hold on to those connections and don't be afraid to utilize those. As much as you ask for help on the campuses you attend, make sure you come back to this campus and seek help here.
Fantastic panelists. I think you learn in all these questions in terms of the answers to this last question was that first semester after you transfer, there usually is a dip in terms of your GPA, a slight dip for transfer students. But it's also shown in studies that that dip doesn't last very long. And transfer students are highly successful after they transfer because you are tested, and you're tested here, not just, I'm not talking about tests in class, but you're tested in terms of your ability to pass courses, to understand knowledge, and really succeed. Another common theme was, once again, we're talking about transitional programs, but not forgetting the support systems that you've established while you're at community college. Now, this next question is only going to pertain to a couple of you. So I brought you to the beginning of the semester, first year. So now I'm going to take a couple of you to graduation. So starting on my end here, there's only a couple of you. Can you please describe your graduation at the university?
This is at least a little bit more recent, so hopefully my recollections will be better. Like I said, I bounced around a lot. I went to 3 different colleges in 3 years, and there were times when I wasn't sure whether or not I was making the right decision. When I left Long Beach City, I had 2 top choices in mind. I was either going to go to UCLA or UC Berkeley. I remember telling this story last year. I finally made up my mind. I was going to go to Berkeley. And my mom and I walked down 2nd Street, and she bought me a blue carnation and a yellow carnation, and we celebrated the fact that I was going to Berkeley. And as we were walking back to the house, I was like, never mind, I'm going to UCLA, but the colors still work. It took a while to get there, and there were so many unforeseen changes along the way. But like I said earlier, the end result was everything I could have expected it to be and more. I loved my time at UCLA. It was phenomenal. I thought that Long Beach City and Occidental before Long Beach City prepared me so well for UCLA. And what's better is then that education at UCLA prepared me for my career. It was such a worthwhile experience. Whatever goals you're establishing for yourselves now, see them through to fruition. Make sure you get to graduation. No matter how tiresome it seems, no matter how daunting it seems when you first get to the university level, get there. The camaraderie you feel at your graduation, the final exam, walking out of your final exam, and it'll be your last final, and it'll seem anticlimactic at first because you'll just be like, oh my God, I made it through finals. And then it'll set in. You're done. Like you've successfully finished your 4-year education. That feeling is so worthwhile. Run through a fountain, do something impetuous, do something to celebrate this. But get there because it's infinitely worth it.
Thank you. Another graduation perspective?
So for me, as a student body president at the university, you have a lot of speeches to make. So for me, I have like 6 speeches that I have to make in like 2 weeks. But when you become student body president at your university, that's what it's going to feel like. But when you can't sleep at night like me, I tend to reflect a lot. And when it's your final semester and you're going to graduate, there's a feeling of excitement and a lot of reflection. What you've learned, what you've experienced, and how much you've learned from the university that you've gone to. And there's a lot of growth. After, when you finally get the stage of that semester that you're graduating from, there's a lot of growth, and you're going to reflect a lot. And I'm going through like a midlife crisis. What am I going to do? Am I going to get a job? So that's what it feels like for me.
Oh, really? Okay. Hi. Okay. Oh, wow, graduation. Okay, good question. Oh, let's see. I think my biggest thing about the graduation process was I thank God that I listened to my counselors, because then I was really able to track the ed plan that they gave me. So it wasn't a guess of when I was actually going to graduate. So that's the biggest thing. See your counselor all the time, every semester. That way you're definitely on track when you are going to get ready to graduate. So again, like I said, I knew when it was coming, and by that time I had made tons of friends. And so our last semester was like a celebration. After every test, we just come outside and we say, oh, almost there, almost there. And eventually we were there. And, you know, the euphoria of happiness, of achievement is what we felt and what we talked about, and shopping for that cap and gown. It was like we were on a high after that final exam. And the day that we all showed up in our cap and gown, there was nothing bad could happen to us at that moment, because we smiled from beginning to end. We laughed, we threw up our hats, we hugged, we cried. And it was just such a joyous occasion. And nobody can ever take that moment from me, just like they won't be able to take it away from you. To this day, I remember, you know, the tassels being tossed, and, you know, being able to give them their books back. And, you know, it's just a wonderful feeling. You know, it's a high you can't explain, but all of you will reach it. So think about that. Okay.
Thank you, panelists. The reason I focused in not only on the beginning point, but the end point, especially since most of you are trying to transfer in this room, is to remind you that transferring is just one of the transitions. To keep motivated, you have to look beyond transfer, really. Because remember, when you transfer, you're going to be there as junior level transfers already. So you're already going to be thinking about internships, research, graduation again in 2 years, what you're going to do in terms of post-baccalaureate work. So think about the next transition already to keep motivated. This next question is for everybody, since we're talking about studies, and we'll start on my end. Some students are nervous about the rigors of studies after transfer. Did you feel ready for your university courses? If you didn't, what helped you get ready for those university courses?
I'm going to start to sound like rainbows and sunshine and bunny rabbits all the time, but I really felt prepared when I got to UCLA. I honestly believe, and I've seen a wide array of professors, that here at Long Beach City College, we have some of the best professors in the nation. And education is what you make of it. You will get out of it as much as you put into it. So if you're willing to dedicate the time to your studies, if you're willing to manage your priorities properly and establish a schedule for yourself that is manageable, then you will be prepared for this. Because at Long Beach City College, you have resources here who are available to you at all times to make sure that you're ready for that next level. One thing that I would recommend, and it's already been touched upon by our panelists, is know your classes and get the syllabi early. Get to the bookstore well before classes start. Get your books. Start looking over when assignments are going to be due, when readings are going to be assigned, and jump on that before the semester or the quarter starts. Because if you end up in a quarter system, those 10 weeks, as she mentioned, they go by so quickly. So if you can learn to manage that time, you guys will be well prepared. And use the professors here now. See them during their office hours. Go back to them when you get stuck, because sometimes it's intimidating to go to the current professors you have. Don't be afraid to use the professors from your past to help you out. But I felt extremely well prepared, and then it just became a matter of managing my time wisely to make sure that everything that I had learned here, I could then transfer over to UCLA.
So just to reiterate what Samantha said, it's always very beneficial to be as prepared as you can be. Like, going over all your books and your coursework before it comes. But for me, I was very intimidated going in. I think part of it was because I entered in the middle of the school year, so I started this spring, and all of the students were already kind of in like the mindset that I was trying to get to. And the thing is, I think it's also the nature of my major, so I'm engineering. I think all of the engineering students, I think it's hard for all of us, just because, like I said, it's the nature of the coursework. But at the same time, I had to learn what resources were available to me in the engineering school at USC, and there's a lot. So the professors, all of the academic centers, and all of the student organizations, they all work together to get the students to pass their classes, to excel in their classes, and you just have to find that at whatever school it is that you transfer to. So yeah, I was intimidated, but it just took a little bit of time to figure out how I was going to pass the classes and just make sure that it does happen.
I'll be brief on this one. Once you start writing your papers and you've done a few of them already, you're going to be more comfortable and you're going to be more confident. And once you've done a 20-pager or 30-pager, those 4 or 5 pagers will be, you'll do it like in 2 hours. So that's it.
I think the question was, were we ready, right?
Yeah.
Did we feel prepared?
Did you feel ready? And if not, how did you get ready?
It's interesting because we're speaking of writing, and because of the AAP program, so I was in the honors program here at Long Beach City College. I earned A's, my papers were A's, and I get to UCLA, and I turn in my first paper. As an anthropology major, there's a lot of writing. I'm hopefully starting my research with psychological, it's at psychological anthropology. So I turn in my paper and I get a C- on my paper. And of course I'm in complete shock. And what I learned is, yes, there are tools that we learn here, but there will be different ways that you'll learn when you get to that university. And it's okay, it doesn't mean that I wasn't a good writer. I'm still working. You'll never be like the writer you want to be, I think, ever. I don't think that happens. But you will learn the necessary tools to become better and better every time. And so in 8 weeks, it was an 8-week program, I had to write a paper a week, 5 pages a week. And eventually I actually got to feel more comfortable with writing. And now I'm even a lot more comfortable reaching out to professors, the writing center, the resources. My biggest thing to say is use all the resources for you. There's no shame in asking for help. And I've gotten to accept the fact that I'm not as great as I thought I was, but I'm good enough. But I will always be better, but with the help of others. And I think that's just such a key point to remember. But I think I still feel a little scared and nervous being at UCLA, but I think the confidence is there for me because I love it. That's all I can say.
Well, for me, the theme of my answer would have to be, it's based on how bad you want it at the end of the day. So the tools that I obtained here, how bad did I want to transfer? How bad did I really want to pass that anatomy class the second time and pregnant and hormonal? Things like that. How bad do I want it? So I got to UCLA, you know, I've declared my major, made the dean's list my first quarter. Then my second quarter, I pick up biology. Mind you, I'm going back to this anatomy at the junior college, so I'm like, wait, Lauren, are you ready for this bowl of fish? Like, these are the big fish. So are you ready for what this professor is going to throw on you next week for a midterm? And I got discouraged, and I stopped going to that class. And I feel that I should share this personal story because when I went and told my professor that, despite being at UCLA, she told me, I'm not dropping you. You're going to pass this final, and you're not going to give up. And that's exactly what I did. And my GPA did not even drop. I'm fine. So I say that to say the perseverance that I obtained here through these classes, through recognizing I'm not getting the grades that I wanted, but at the end of the day, I'll still be happy with what's on my transcripts. I took that to UCLA. And at the end of the day, everything's gonna always be okay. So try not to stress on that level, on keeping up, because you're gonna get that GPA dip, but that's just to show you you're successful now. You've gotten where you've been wanting to get. Now it's time to prove yourself. And that's just what it's all about.
Thank you.
To answer your question, no, I was not prepared. I left here at a 3.8 GPA, almost a 3.9. And I'm getting into these classrooms thinking I know everything. Oh, I know how to study. And I get the syllabi, and this teacher wants me to read 3 chapters in the next week. It became overloading. And I was afraid to talk to the professor. I was afraid to talk to anyone to study with me. And that all my first exams were not up to par. That was not what I came to this university for. So I had to kind of slap myself and tell myself to get it together. So right after we got ready to study for the next test, I decided, you know what, something has to change. Because me sitting in class not opening my mouth, upset about this first exam, I need a wake-up call because this is not what I'm here for. So what I decided to do was, again, talk to people in the class, not really ask them what they did on the exam, but to say, you know what, how about we form study groups? Would anybody like that? And everybody, yeah, me too, I didn't do so well. And then I was able to relax because it just wasn't me. So if you get anything from my experience, learn to make connections, get those study groups. I lived in the Horn Center at CSULB because I just couldn't do it on my own. And once I realized I couldn't and I needed others, my next exam was much better. And I actually graduated with a 3.8. So you can do it too, okay?
Thank you. I wanted to switch over and talk about choices next because some of the students in here, many of them will be accepted to multiple universities. Every time I have my transfer reception at the end of May, or even before that, I tell students one of your hardest decisions now will be to choose the lucky school that you get to go to. So many of you will be in that same position either very soon or eventually. So I'm going to ask each of our panelists, starting from the far end, why did you pick the school that you transferred to? What was it?
Gas prices. No joke, really. Okay, CSULB, I local, you know, and I'm a person that's late, so I can't see myself trying to go way to LA, not that I'm knocking y'all, but I'm just saying, I wanted a local school, and I also wanted one where I could feel that I fit. And when I looked up CSULB and I saw the campus live, they actually had a picture of this one preacher in one photo I found on Google. And, you know, on television, I always saw these campuses where people were able to state their mind, and then the opposition stands over there and they go back and forth, no violence, but just educational talk. And then that kind of made me say, okay, you know what? I think I can fit in. I think it'll be all right. I'm going to add another piece to this puzzle by coming to this school. So for me, it was fit as well. And CSULB, I fit. And
Thank you.
Well, for myself, I applied to 5 schools. I applied to UC Santa Barbara, UC Davis, UC Irvine, Cal State Long Beach, and UCLA. I got into all of them except UCSB. And this is the moment when surrealism kicks in, because you realize that just before that moment, you felt that you couldn't get in. then it's like, I did. So now, who do I want? That type of thing. And so when it came to choosing UCLA, to begin with, I used to be afraid to even go on their website because of their statistics. African American population is 3.8%. That's barely 4 out of 100 people Black. But once I realized that that's exactly why I should choose that school, because I was so passionate about pursuing higher education, I was so afraid of it, and that was my dream school, I felt like that was the fate that I needed to make my decision.
Thank you.
So, have you heard of the North Campus Tour? There's a North Campus Tour. Go. Please go, go, go. So I went to the North Campus Tour and I visited all the universities. I fell in love with UC Santa Cruz. I looked at the redwood trees and I thought, oh my gosh, I do see myself here. It's beautiful. Didn't go to Berkeley. I'll tell you why that's important. And then I did go to UCLA, and of course UCLA has been a dream of mine, and I'll tell you a little bit about their architecture and the story that actually made me want to go there as well. Bottom line is I applied to all the universities I went to, and I was accepted into all the universities I went to, including UC Berkeley and UCLA. So it really came down to, okay, UC Berkeley, oh my God, it's the top number 4 university in the world. UCLA is number 10, but it's still a great university. And what happened is, remember that group I told you about where I went over there and I had A's here in LBCC and I got my C minus? Well, it was that program that every week I wrote a paper. I ended up I had 4 courses during that program, 7 weeks, 4 courses. I ended up with 3 A's and a B minus. And because of that and my writings, I wrote a research paper. I actually ended up winning a scholarship of $29,000 for UCLA. And so I thought, okay, I have Berkeley, I have UCLA with a $29,000 scholarship. And then I would walk around the campus, and there's a building at UCLA, Royce. And the story behind Royce is that the imperfection of that building is supposed to represent the imperfection within humanity. And I love that story. And every time I walk around the UCLA campus, I have to tell you that I feel proud of walking on that campus. And I love it there. And so finding that connection, no matter what else I hear, no matter what else I read, no matter what, if we're number 10 and UC Berkeley's number 4, no matter what anybody says, it's how you feel, and you will feel walking in that campus. Remember, it's going to be 2 years of your life, at least. And now I see myself, I'm working towards my PhD. I hope if it means that I'm going to stay at UCLA all the way through, I'm actually great there. But that was part of my choice, actually. But,
Thank you.
So I'm going to sound a little biased. If you're applying to Cal States, choose Cal State Dominguez Hills. The reason why is I'm there. I have resources that can help you get along the way. And if you're going to any other Cal States that you're choosing, I also have connections in all the Cal States, the 23 Cal States. Please make sure you get a card, especially if you're going to Dominguez Hills. I'm still there till June 30th, and I have resources that will help you along the way. So,
Thank you.
Okay, so USC has always been a dream of mine. It was the only school I applied to out of high school, and I didn't get in. Me and my best friend actually, my success story or whatever, I think it kind of goes along with her. So we both applied out of high school, we both didn't get in, and we both transferred at the same time, and we're both engineering students. So that was a big heartbreak, but I knew that I wanted to still transfer there. A lot of students out of high school, they apply to a wide variety of UCs, Cal States, private schools, so that, you can go right after high school. And then I knew there was a few of us, it's a local high school, Poly, I went to Poly, so then there was a few of us that ended up going to LBCC together because we knew that we still had a dream school that we didn't get into, and we knew it would be possible if we transferred from LBCC. like somebody mentioned before, one of us, don't be afraid to dream big. A lot of people, they get intimidated when they hear like USC, but the thing is, USC has a really high admission rate for transfers relative to like all of their admits. So it was definitely a smart choice coming here, knowing that it was possible to transfer there. Yeah, so it was the only school I really applied to transfer to from here, and luckily I got in. Yeah, so it was kind of that or nothing. Or just work it out at another school.
Thank you.
So as you've gleaned, I'm really good at making decisions. This was not easy for me, and obviously I changed my mind on numerous occasions, but I learned a lot from all of the times that I changed my mind, and there were two very important lessons. First of all, when you have options available to you, everyone will have an opinion. They will, and it's not a bad thing. They all have your best interest in mind, and they all want to see you succeed, and they want to help you get there. And so never be upset by their opinions. Always be grateful that so many people care about you and are taking a vested interest in you. That being said, you have to do what's best for yourself. You have to make the decision that's going to be the best fit for you. I remember all the voices that not just were in my head, but they were coming at me from a lot of different angles. All of those voices told me, you've got to cut the apron strings. You've got to get out of Southern California. You've got to get away from your mom. And like I said, she's still in the room right now, so I didn't do a very good job of that. But it's not something I'm ashamed of. They were all afraid that if I didn't get away from my home and my family, that I wouldn't be able to take care of myself. I wouldn't be able to be independent. If you know that you can do that, but you know that you're a homebody and you like to be near your home, don't listen to all of those voices telling you to get away. Do what's best for you. Make sure that you're comfortable with the decision you make. I know that I can stand and be self-sufficient, but I also know that at the end of the day, I love going home to my family. So I wanted to be somewhere that allowed me to be self-sufficient and at a beautiful campus where I felt safe and secure, but also within a reasonable distance so that when I needed to see my family, they could be there for me. The other thing that I would say when it comes to making a decision is don't make the decision out of fear. I hear so many of my high school students and athletes at Marina say, well, I'm really worried about this. I'm really afraid that I can't do this. Don't make your decision based on fear. Make your decision based on what excites you the most. You'll conquer the fears and you'll overcome the obstacles, but you don't want to miss out on those things that campuses have to offer that really excite you and they pique your interest.
Thank you, panelists. Well, believe it or not, we've come to the end of the panel, actually. There's a couple of things I wanted to say, though, before we say thank you to our panelists. And the first thing is to the students in the audience, and that is to remind you that you are these panelists. One day you will be sitting up here at this table. And some of you may be thinking, okay, I haven't even graduated from high school yet, or I just started at Long Beach City College, or I'm struggling trying to pass intermediate algebra right now. But you will be up here. We will be calling you to sit up at this panel and tell other people about your success. The other point that I wanted to drive home was that word of success. You know, we use it so often, you know, success this, what builds success, you are a success. And really, when people talk to me as the transfer coordinator, I will make presentations and I'll talk about Plan B, Plan C, I get C, 60 transferable units, the Golden Four. That's what creates success in terms of you transferring. Real success is what you've seen from the panel today. And really what that is, to tie it up in terms of a theme, is perseverance and grit. That when you think that you cannot pass that test, that you cannot transfer, that you're struggling through that first week, you tough it out, and you are successful that way. The other thing that I want to say also is that you all have your own personal stories. So it's not just about the GPA that's on your transcript. It's about your own personal story. and each of you will be telling that story up here eventually. So please congratulate me, not congratulate me, help me, well, you can congratulate me also. Please help me in congratulating our panelists for their great personal stories. One final thing that I did want to mention is, are there any of you who have already been accepted to a university? Okay. Stand up if you've already been accepted to a university and shout out that university right now. San Diego State, back there. UC Irvine. Cal State Long Beach. Cal State Long Beach. Dominguez Hills. UC Riverside. As I said, our future panelists. Thank you, everybody.